Hello, internet. You know her name. You know her story. Okay, a poor girl. She goes and she gets a fairy godmother, and then she goes to this ball, and she has this prince, and it all explodes at midnight. Okay, Cinderella. And oh boy, did the early 2000s love this trope. They love Cinderella. They froth at the mouth hearing a poor girl whose only wish is to look really pretty for one night. But I wanted to know which is the best one, so I would never have to watch another Cinderella movie again. So I made a list of movies, but as I was making the list, I realized a lot of the movies I actually wanted to talk about actually are like from 2010s and past. So I decided to change my idea. So I made some guidelines on how a movie would count on my list. Rule 1. It needs to be released with the year date 2 at the start of the year, which is a pretty big section of time, but it also means I don't get to talk about what probably would be the best Cinderella, which is Cinderella 1997. That's probably for the best, actually, because that would just like win, and like where's the search? And 2, the title needs to say Cinderella or at least Rella. No Ella Enchanted. 3, to keep myself sane. I'm only doing live action movies because I didn't really want to watch that many Cinderella movies, which got me to a list of about 20 movies, which doesn't sound like a lot, but my camera overheats after an hour of talking, so I would not be able to do that in one video. But I created a wheel! So I'm planning to spin this wheel, and whatever it tells me to watch, I will watch, and then we'll compare the movies that got selected, and then I'll make follow-up videos until we find the best Cinderella movie. But ooh, how can I find out which is the best Cinderella movie if I don't have a control to base it on? Because I can't use the animated Cinderella movie. I'm looking for the best live-action Cinderella movie. But thank God, Disney thought ahead and they remade Cinderella. Boom! Easy. This is what Disney thinks is the Cinderella adaptation. And so, I'm gonna watch that Cinderella movie and then get all the main takeaways from that, and then I will compare that to these other movies that are trying to be Cinderella movie, and I will see if I think that it's better than Disney's one to find out which is the Cinderella movie. So let's see. Disney's 2015 Cinderella tells us about the story of Cinderella. I got about 28 points that I was like, this is the main takeaway of Cinderella, which I will use to compare to the other movies to see if they also hit these plot lines. Even though I suck at doing maths, I do love random stats, and I will make a spreadsheet, and it will be awesome and the worst idea ever. So this is what you need to put in the Cinderella soup to be the most Cinderella you can be. 1, she needs to be a dreamer. Okay, she needs to be highly motivated, creative, and full of dreams. 2, dead mom. 3, dad marries a widow. And the other adaptions need to tell me that the dad married a widow, okay? Just because she gets a new stepmom, I don't know if that stepmom is a widower. They only get this point if the movie goes, yeah, she was a widow before. Because that adds to, like, the evilness. Because you're like, oh, she's done this before. She's done this before. 4, redheads are evil and serve cunt. Number 5, dead dad. If the character spends the whole time being like, oh man, my dad's dead, and never mentions her dead mom, like, who am I to believe that both her parents are dead? Maybe her mom just ran away. 6, Cinderella is now the help. 7, Ella is best friends with mice. 8, the prince does not mention that he is a prince on their first meeting. 9, the prince also has dying parents for trauma bonding later. A ball. Okay, it can't be Cinderella without the goddamn dance. If there's no dance, it's not Cinderella. 11, Ella makes her own dresses. 12, stepfamily tells her that she cannot go to the ball even though she made her own dress. They didn't have to spend any money. She was gonna walk there. 13, fairy godmother serves cunt and mother.
That's better.
14, unconsented animals turn into humans. If the animals are like, yes, please turn me into a human for Cinderella's big night, no point. 15, pumpkin mention. 16, big ball gown. To make my stats even more annoying, I'm giving a half point if it's blue. If it's not a big ball gown, it gets no points. What's even the point of big? 17, unrecognizable to her stepfamily. 18, the spell gotta end at midnight. I'm looking at my points, and I realized I go from 18 to 20. I think my whole maths is wrong. I'm gonna ignore that. 20. They are the event, okay? They gotta walk into that ball, and if nobody stops, they're not the event. 21, they have an awesome dance with the prince. But 22 is that they're dancing with the prince, and then they're like, hey, actually, let's ditch the party for a little bit to have some romance time. Scandalous. 23, the prince, Loki has a foot thing. Why are you so obsessed with a girl's shoe? 24, evil rat vibe guy. 25, evil stepmother finds out that Cinderella was Cinderella. 26, she stands up to stepmom. The stepmom should not get a happy ending at the end of this movie. And the last two, easy peasy. The prince finds the girl. Yay. And 28, happily ever after. So those are my 28, but it turns out actually 27 points that make the perfect Cinderella movie. But that doesn't mean that a movie that doesn't hit all these points can't be the best Cinderella movie. This is just what makes it the most Cinderella-y. Also, prepare to get sick of the word Cinderella. So every movie I watch will get be tallied to a score of 28.5, cough 27.5. And then I will just compare how much I preferred watching these movies over the live action. But let's spin that wheel and see what we are watching! Disney's Sneakerella from 2022 is definitely a more unique interpretation of the Cinderella story because one, that's a boy, and it follows Elle, who is an inspiring shoemaker from New York City. And if you can't tell by the title, this whole movie is about sneaker culture. Disney were trying their best to get 13-year-old boys watch a musical. I doubt it went really well, but who am I to judge? Maybe sneakerheads love a ballad. Elle, he has some unique abilities that other Cinderellas won't have because he can read shoe aura.
Sporting a classic. Thinks if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Can't go wrong with the GOAT.
What does that mean? But, he also has a lesbian best friend. That's really rare for Disney. She's probably the first one ever. However, she's not a mouse, so... Because Elle plays the princess role in this movie, his prince is Kira, who is the daughter of this very influential tycoon guy in the sneaker world. And what would you know? They are looking for a new artist for their next collection. And Elle, he lies to Kira being like, yeah, actually I'm actually a professional designer. She believes that and invites him to the gala so he can meet her dad and they can see if they want to become business partners. Instead of having this grand old dress, he has these shoes that he pretty personalized to his hometown, which kind of makes the next bit kind of crazy because when he loses one of his shoes and Kiara starts this whole like, where's my Cinderella? Come on, my prince, come back to me. It's literally a map of where he lives and she's like, where is he? Also, his magical godmother is a man. It's just like this magical farmer guy. It's just a guy in plaid who like can do this and like leaves blue and I was like, wow, that's that's really cool. They did not get Zerv's mother and cunt for this movie. He eventually is like, it was me. That's my shoe. But his evil brothers really want to move out of this town because their dad is selling Elle's family's shoe shop. Hey, let's go before his meeting and tell the big boss that this 16-year-old you want to employ actually is just a normal 16-year-old and not a professional yet. Don't hire him.
You wanted me to be all those things that everyone said I was.
So this is my fault?
No, of course not.
Unbelievable.
No.
Why did you believe a 16-year-old? The movie ends with a rap battle. And my takeaway is that if you can think of a shoe metaphor, this movie says it. Okay, let's spin that wheel again, because surely it will only go up from here. 2012's Kath and Kimberella is a continuation of the show Kath and Kim, which is very big and culturally important to Australia, but I've actually never watched it. But thankfully, this movie introduces all the characters that you need to know and their dynamics at the start of this movie, so I was like, sweet! Phew! I don't You need to watch a whole TV show to get the context of this movie. So, Kath and Cinderella is about the three main girls, Kath, Kim, and Sharon. They win a trip to this bankrupt Italian kingdom, and they walk into this castle trying to find a place to stay. And the king is like, "Wabamba! White women, they got money! Ba-boom!" And he's like, "These white women will save my bankrupt town. I need to seduce them."
Rich and stupid. All right. Showtime.
And he's like, "Oh, beautiful ladies, please stay in my castle, please." Also, in this movie, it's illegal to be gay, and all the gays they get taken off the street and put into jail. And you might be wondering, when does the plot of Cinderella come in? The three girls, they kind of take elements of the story and all have, like, Cinderella moments. But then also, like, actual, like, Cinderella character, just a background girl whose, like, subplot is that she's trying to kill Kim because the prince is in love with Kim. But this movie is just not the plot of Cinderella. And these characters, okay, they are like character humor. So they are the nonsensical part of the world. But now they're put in a nonsensical location. And so their characters aren't working because now they are like the straight man in this crazy world. And maybe if I actually like knew these characters, I would care. But I didn't, so I don't. Also, don't worry about the gays. It turns out jail is also a gay club. So the gays are fine. They've been dancing this whole time. They're fine. And my takeaway? Why is Richard Grant here? Okay, Will, please give me something good or I'll explode. Because what was that? 2016's A Cinderella Story If the Shoe Fits, the fourth installment of A Cinderella Story. I don't even have time to go through that franchise. I'm only going to talk about this one. This time, our Cinderella, her name is Tessa, and her quirk, she's a mechanic, and she also wants to be a singer. And her evil stepmother, I saw who it was, and I literally did a lap around my room. I was so excited. Her evil stepmother is Jennifer Tilly. Okay, and not only is she being a great evil stepmother, she's a red-headed evil stepmother. Oh my gosh!
Tessa? Yeah? Could you please go get Sparkles? Get Sparkles?
Yes, right away, Divine.
Thank you.
Like, even if after watching this movie, I hate this movie, I will still rewatch it just to see Tilly be Tilly. She outperforms everybody. But also, this one does the plot of Cinderella a bit differently. Because this time, Tessa and her stepfamily are in a production of Cinderella. But, of course, Tessa can't let her stepfamily know that she is in this production. So instead, she puts on a blonde wig and a British accent so that her family does not recognize her while she plays the starring role as Cinderella in the production while also doing mechanics things.
I've got a pair of boxers like those.
Go London. Patriotic, you know.
And most of the notes I made while watching this movie were just me going, "Oh my god, Tilly! Tilly, 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 Tilly!" So trying to remember the plot right now actually is struggling, because most of my notes were just like, "Oh my god, isn't Jennifer Tilly so funny? Oh my god, isn't she like so beautiful and so hot?" The songs, and honestly, the prints, they suck. They're pretty nothing burger. But it is, surprisingly, really funny. When they're not singing, I was having a good time. There's this one moment where, like, the play is going absolutely bonkers. It's exploding on itself. And then this one background character just goes, "And this is the new Cinderella," and then starts breakdancing.
All right, everybody, get ready for the new Cinderella.
This is the best movie ever. And when the stepmother discovers that Tilly is actually being the blonde British girl, she's like, "I knew it. I knew you smelled like cookies." I wish someone's gotcha comment to me was them saying that they knew that was me because I smelled like cookies. That's so fun. They end the movie riding off on a motorbike. Takeaway, most definitely the most Cinderella dresses you're going to see in one movie. And finally, we are up to the last spin of what I'm going to talk about today. So, I hope it's a really good one. This is our last chance of this video to see if this movie is better than Disney's live action Cinderella movie. And we got Cinderella 2021 is a jukebox musical. And I don't like jukebox musicals. I love musicals. I hate a jukebox musical other than Mamma Mia. Just write some shitty songs. Because the songs they choose never flow well because they're not written for a musical. Another thing, especially in this movie, before they get to the songs, there's like a 2-second pause where like they're going like, I'm saying this line, blah blah blah. And song!
Think and act like this.
Like, ugh, I'm annoyed! Okay, this movie is so much like the Cinderella live action, but with a feminist girl boss twist. Huzzah! Because this time, Ella, she wants to own her own shop. And in this town, that's crazy. A woman in charge of a shop? That's crazy. But she wants to sell her dresses. Even though the whole town is going, you could never do that, Cinderella. But she is so girl boss pilled. When she goes to the ball and gets with the prince, she literally turns him down because she has a job opportunity.
So, if it's a choice, I choose me.
Okay, they end up together at the end of the movie. She has both her worlds. Like, good for her. But it was just like, whoa! She's smashing that glass ceiling and turning it into a glass slipper. It is a bit of a hard watch because Cinderella, she's cringe. And as a cringe person, I was writing in my notes while writing this, I was like, I want to explode her with my mind. And I'm like, she's so cringe, I'm saying cringe things to be annoyed at her.
I hereby decree all short peasants shall be pardoned by the king.
Get down!
To make up for her lack of sauce, it's okay, because they got Prince Flamboyant to eat up the whole movie. He's holding the whole movie on the back of his shoulders. And also, in this movie, the mice play a really big role. Actually, too big of a role. They never stop talking.
She was so looking forward to that ball.
It's a shame.
Absolutely devastating.
And even though one of the mice are played by one of my favorite comedians, James Acaster, they also have evil James Corden there too. So, and they're so involved in the story, they even harmonize in songs. And I'm like, why are the mice squeaking along? You're mice. This was probably one of the rare movies where the mice could consent. They very much don't. They go, no, 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 don't. My takeaway from that movie is, oh my god, Mitchell Tanner from Strange Hill High. I love that show. That's him. His voice actor is here in the movie. Oh my gosh. What did I learn from these movies? Well, can the sun fucking stop? Unfortunately, so far, Disney has made the best Cinderella movie from what I watched today. But I still have 16 more movies to watch. The battle has not been won yet. The wheel just did me really dirty by giving me Kath and Kimberella. But I hope you come and continue to join me in my quest to watch more Cinderella movies. My question for you today is, if you could turn any fruit or vegetable into a carriage, what would it be? And 2, what other random stats would you like to see on these Cinderella movies? Bye bye! Okay, go. You done?